The Nile River, the world's longest river, flows for over 6,650 kilometers, traversing 11 countries before emptying into the Mediterranean Sea. For millennia, the Nile has been a source of life, sustaining civilizations, shaping cultures, and providing a vital lifeline for millions of people. Its waters have nourished crops, supported livelihoods, and fostered trade, connecting communities along its banks. From the ancient Egyptians who revered the Nile as a god to the modern-day farmers who rely on its waters for irrigation, the river's significance cannot be overstated. For centuries, the Nile's annual floods deposited fertile silt along its banks, enabling agriculture to flourish and civilizations to thrive. The river's bounty sustained ancient empires and continues to play a crucial role in the economies of modern-day nations. The Nile's waters irrigate vast stretches of farmland, providing sustenance for millions. Its flow drives hydropower turbines, generating electricity for homes and industries. The river also serves as a vital transportation route, connecting communities and facilitating trade. The Nile's importance extends beyond its economic significance. The river holds immense cultural and spiritual value for the people living along its banks. Its waters have inspired countless works of art, literature, and music, reflecting its profound impact on human civilization. The Nile's rhythms have shaped daily life for generations, dictating agricultural cycles and influencing cultural practices. Despite its importance, the Nile River faces increasing pressure from a growing population, economic development, and climate change. These challenges underscore the need for cooperation among the Nile Basin countries to ensure the river's waters are managed sustainably for the benefit of all. The Nile River's waters have been a source of both cooperation and contention throughout history. The river's unique geography, with its upstream and downstream countries, has led to complex and often contentious water-sharing arrangements. The historical context of Nile water sharing is marked by colonial-era agreements that have shaped the current dynamics among the Nile Basin countries. During the colonial period, European powers, primarily Britain, played a significant role in shaping the Nile's water management. Treaties signed in 1929 and 1959 granted Egypt and Sudan significant control over the Nile's waters, largely excluding the interests of upstream countries. These agreements, often seen as unfair and inequitable by upstream nations, have been a source of tension and dispute for decades. The 1929 Nile Waters Agreement, signed between Egypt and Great Britain, recognized Egypt's natural and historical rights to the Nile's waters, and granted it the right to veto any construction projects on the river that could affect its water share. This agreement, made without the consent of other Nile Basin countries, solidified Egypt's dominance over the river's resources. The 1959 agreement, signed between Egypt and Sudan, further cemented the unequal distribution of Nile waters. This agreement allocated the entire annual flow of the Nile between the two countries, with Egypt receiving the lion's share. Upstream countries excluded from these negotiations were left with limited access to the river's resources, hindering their development aspirations. The construction of the Great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, a massive hydropower project on the Blue Nile in Ethiopia, has reignited long-standing tensions over the Nile's waters. The dam, set to be Africa's largest hydroelectric power plant upon completion, has become a focal point in the struggle for control over the Nile's resources. For Ethiopia, the GERD represents a path to energy independence and economic development. The dam promises to double Ethiopia's electricity generation capacity, providing much-needed power for its growing population and industrial sector. The Ethiopian government views the GERD as a national development priority, a symbol of its commitment to lifting its people out of poverty. However, downstream countries, particularly Egypt, view the GERD with apprehension. Egypt, heavily reliant on the Nile for over 90% of its water needs, fears the dam's massive reservoir could significantly reduce its water supply, particularly during the filling phase. This concern has led to heightened tensions and stalled negotiations between the three countries. The GERD's potential impact on the Nile's flow has raised concerns about potential water shortages, agricultural losses, and economic disruption in downstream countries. The lack of a comprehensive and legally binding agreement on the dam's filling and operation has further exacerbated these concerns. Section 4. Egypt's concerns water security in a changing climate. Egypt, heavily reliant on the Nile River for its water supply, faces significant water security challenges in a changing climate. The country's dependence on the Nile for agriculture, industry, and domestic use makes it particularly vulnerable to any reduction in water availability. With a rapidly growing population and increasing water demands, Egypt is already experiencing water stress. The country's per capita water availability is well below the threshold of water scarcity, making it one of the most water-stressed countries in the world. Climate change is projected to exacerbate Egypt's water challenges, with potentially significant impacts on the Nile's flow. Rising temperatures and changes in rainfall patterns could lead to increased evaporation from the Aswan High Dam reservoir, further reducing water availability. The potential impact of the GERD on the Nile's flow has heightened Egypt's water security concerns. While Ethiopia maintains that the dam's operation will not significantly harm downstream countries, Egypt remains apprehensive about potential water shortages, particularly during the dam's filling phase. Section 5. Ethiopia's ambitions powering development with the GERD. For Ethiopia, a nation grappling with energy poverty and striving for economic development, the Great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, or GERD, represents a transformative project with the potential to reshape its future. The dam, a testament to Ethiopia's ambition and determination, promises to unlock its vast hydropower potential and fuel its economic engine. The GERD, upon completion, is expected to generate over 5,000 megawatts of electricity, more than doubling Ethiopia's current generating capacity. This surge in power generation will not only address Ethiopia's chronic energy shortages, but also pave the way for industrial expansion, job creation, and improved living standards for its citizens. Beyond its domestic impact, the GERD also presents an opportunity for Ethiopia to become a regional power exporter, earning valuable foreign exchange through electricity sales to neighboring countries. This potential revenue stream could be transformative for Ethiopia's economy, providing much-needed funds for infrastructure development, poverty reduction, and social programs. The Ethiopian government views the GERD as a symbol of national pride and a testament to its commitment to achieving economic self-reliance. The dam's construction has garnered immense public support within Ethiopia, uniting the nation behind a common goal of progress and prosperity.